Hi, thank you for being part of the care team for Bob Haas. I'm his daughter, Kristen. My siblings and I are aware of how tricky it is to interact with Dad's cochlear implant and the processor that is part of that hearing solution. We wanted to provide a little instruction that we hope you will find helpful. When Dad can't hear you, it makes it extremely difficult for him to share and for you to understand what he needs. To start, the following conditions must be true for Dad to be able to hear pretty much anything. His processor must be charged, and his processor must be turned on, and his processor must be properly placed on his head on the right side towards the back of his head, and his head position must be such that the processor has access to sound. The processor has a microphone on it that is used for the source of sound that his ear hears. If any of these conditions are not met, then he likely cannot hear anything. And so they must all be true and be met for him to be able to hear you. I wanted to show you a few things. So I'm going to turn this camera around. Okay, so we have a couple chargers here. This white charger is the charger used for his processor. This charger here, station, is a 3-position charging station. We don't use the small round circle that's white or the middle section, but this section is used for charging his phone. So his phone here just gets placed on here. You'll hear a magnet and it will get a charging symbol while it's charging. This will have a lightning look to it. Okay, but the main one we're talking about here, this is for his processor for his cochlear implant. So the processor itself is this piece. This attaches by this magnet here to his head, and so there's a black side and there's a tan side, or gray. So when you charge it, it needs to be black side up. And you can see when it's correctly charging, there's an amber light. When the base has power, we see this light here. And so if I remove it, you can see that remains. If the processor's not in the correct position, the amber light will go away. And so you need to look for the amber light. Also, when it's completely charged, the amber light will go out. Okay, let's talk a little bit about how to work with this thing. So this has on the gray side, this is, you can see the microphone section here. So this is what we would call the gray side up, or this is the front. I would call this the back, and this has the magnet again that attaches to his head. This has a button that you can feel it kind of detent when you press in the center, and I'll see if I can make it loud enough if it will sound in this video. Okay, I pressed it down and up. So now I'm going to press and hold for a little bit, and you can see there's a light there. It was a white light, then a blue light, and now it is flashing red. That means that I just turned it on, and that flashing red means it is not currently attached to his head, so it's not made a connection with the cochlear hardware that's inside his head. Okay, when I attach it to his head, and I'll do so now, you'll see that red flashing will change to green temporarily, and then it will fade. So here it goes behind his right ear. You see the green, and then it disappeared. And that means it's turned on and working. Okay, I'm going to take it off again. Okay, so again, it's turned on, it's flashing red. Okay, now if I want to turn it off, I just push the same button, hold it for a second or two. There it goes, I pressed it. We're going to see a flash of white, then blue. I'm letting go. and it fades to nothing. So now it is turned off. Okay, and on and off, you press that center button. Now I'm gonna press it, I'm gonna turn it on again. Press and hold. See, white and then blue. I'm letting go. It was blue and then white. Okay, and now it's flashing red. Now I wanna see how much charge this has on it. And so the way to do that is you start with it turned on. I'm gonna press and release the same button, but I'm not gonna hold it. I'm just gonna press and release. And we're going to look for the sequence of flashing colors immediately after. Press and release. Green, green, and now flashing red. So that is a level of charge that is 50 to 75%. So when you're checking the charge level on the processor, the sequence of flashing colors will mean the following. So if you see one green flash, it means it is 75 to 100% charged. If you get two green flashes, it is 50 to 75% charged. If you have three orange flashes, it's 25 to 50%. And if you have four orange flashes, it is low to 25%. And if you don't see any other colors other than red, then it is very low and you probably need to charge it. After checking the charge, okay, so it's on, you do a quick press and release, you see flashing of a certain number of times of certain colors, then at the end of that it will return to just flashing red. That means it's just turned on and ready to attach to his head. There are a few special tips for when Dad is in bed. First, if Dad is wearing his processor, but his head position on the pillow is covering the microphone, simply press the pillow down gently with your hand. This uncovers the processor so the microphone can pick up your voice clearly. Second, being in bed makes it easy for the processor to get bumped out of position. If Dad is sleeping, it's best to remove the processor and use that time to charge it. It also helps us not lose it. Third, the processor will turn itself off if it loses contact with the correct magnet position on his head for a period of time. Before replacing it, hold it in your hand and check the light. If it's flashing red, the processor is on. Simply place it back in the correct magnet position. If there are no lights, it has turned itself off and it must be turned back on before replacing it on his head. Fourth, and last, if you are assisting Dad during a phone call, you can check whether his phone and processor are connected via Bluetooth. If they are not connected, he will have a great difficulty hearing. A simple way to tell, if you can clearly hear the other person's voice coming through the phone speaker, the processor is not connected, which means the processor is likely turned off and it needs to be turned back on. This is especially easy to spot on a FaceTime call, since FaceTime uses speakerphone when the processor is not connected. So to review, all of the following conditions must be met for Dad to be able to hear you. The processor must be charged. It must have enough power to operate. It must be turned on. It must be properly placed on his head. It's on the right side towards the back, and there is a magnet that will positively attach to his head when the processor is placed in that vicinity, and his head position must be such that the processor has access to sound. The processor has a microphone on it that's used as a source for the sound that his ears hear. Thank you for your special care of our special dad. Thank you.